Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome to the Card Closet. This is Erik. If you're like me, you've been getting a lot of emails the last week or two. I think that every organization on the planet Earth that has my email address has sent me an email letting me know what they're doing about the coronavirus. In some cases, it's quite comforting and reassuring to hear what they're doing, but some places it's just a little silly. Do I really need an email from Weight Watchers telling me what they're doing about the coronavirus? Do I really need an email from Jane.com, etc., etc.? I know they're all well-intentioned and have no problem with it. Just fun in a little bit. Today's video is going to be a video response to Sconnie Tradition. He's got a contest going right now for 600 subscribers, and he's asking us to give a little bit of cultural history about ourselves. He wants to know the country we're from and our family, our lineage, and then a family story if we have one. So, you can probably tell from my name, Erik, I am a Norwegian through and through. 6 of my 8 great-grandparents were 100% full-blooded Norwegians, either born in Norway themselves or the children of people that came from Norway in the late 1800s. So I'm almost full-blooded Norwegian, and the other fourth is a line that goes through one of my grandmothers. It's a line that's been in the United States since the 1600s, and prior to that they came from Europe, the part of Europe which is now Belgium and Luxembourg. So I'm not even sure what that would have been called back in the 1600s, but so that's my family line. A country I'm from the United States. My parents are all from the United States. My grandparents are all from the United States. But it's when you hit that great-grandparent level of the family tree that you start to get some people from Norway. So chances are very likely that I am a descendant of some Vikings. The specific town that a lot of these people came from is just north of Oslo, so it is inland, not on the shore, but with generations upon generations of my ancestors all being in the country of Norway. Very likely some of them were Vikings. I did some research on Norwegian athletes. In the NFL, there have been 6 players born in Norway that ever played in the NFL, including a current player, Corey Vedvik, who was a punter for one game this past season for the Buffalo Bills. But probably the most well-known Norwegian ever to play is Jan Stenerud, who came to the United States out of high school to go to college. He went to Montana State, and he had a scholarship on the ski jumping team. And he was goofing around with some friends on the football field after he had run the stairs up and down the stadium for exercise. And one of the coaches, not the football coach, saw him kicking field goals for fun and told the football coach about him. And the next season then, Jan Stenerud was the kicker for Montana State. And his first year as a kicker, first year he ever played football, he kicked a 59-yard field goal, which at the time was the longest field goal ever kicked in college. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Major League Baseball has had 3 Norwegian-born players in its history. The last one played in 1939, so nothing recently. The NBA has had 1 player from Norway who played 3 games for the Clippers back in 1989-90. They've had quite a few NHL hockey players, obviously. There were too many to count, honestly. There's there was something like 17 to 20 current players from Norway, so there's a bunch there. Major League Soccer, I think there were 6 current players. A couple of sports that are a little offbeat or not mainstream that I really love are Formula One racing and the Tour de France. And in Formula One, there have been 12 drivers from Norway, including a current driver who races for Red Bull named Dennis Olsen. And in the Tour de France, they've had no winners, but they've had 3 recent riders. Alexander Kristoff, he's won 3 stages in the Tour. Edvald Bosenhagen has won 3 stages. And then probably the best Norwegian cyclist ever, Tor Hushovd, who has won 10 stages and won the green jersey twice. So that's a little bit about my history, my background. Family story, that's a little bit more interesting. There is a story that comes from my grandmother, the non-Norwegian grandmother, about one of her grandfathers, I believe it was, many years ago, during the Civil War, who lived in Illinois, and he was out chopping wood, and a runaway slave came up behind him and killed him, murdered him. Not sure how he did it, if he picked up another axe or had a knife on him, I don't know. But that's kind of a family story that goes around. Another family story, which is kind of interesting, that in my immediate family, we have a lot of people that have known professional athletes. So starting with my parents, my mom and dad went to South Dakota State University in the late 60s, and they were friends with Jim Langer, who became the starting center for the Miami Dolphins and was their center through their glorious Super Bowl run in the 70s and was eventually elected into the Hall of Fame. My mother-in-law went to high school and graduated with Dave Osborne, who was a running back in the 70s for the Minnesota Vikings, and she's still friends with him to this day. My wife graduated from high school with Adam Vinatieri, who I believe is still on a roster, still playing in the NFL. So as long as he's still playing, we've got somebody our age in professional sports, which means we're not old yet. And then me personally, I was childhood friends with Aaron Seeley, who pitched about 15 years in the major leagues with the Red Sox, Rangers, Mariners, Angels, back to the Mariners, and then a little bit with the Dodgers at the end. So that's our family connection to a bunch of professional athletes. My father-in-law didn't know any directly, but he grew up 2 farms down from the Greenway farm near Plankington, South Dakota. And so he knew the dad and grandfather Greenway of Chad Greenway, who was an awesome linebacker for the Minnesota Vikings. So that's my entry. Congratulations to Sconnie Tradition. Check out that channel if you don't know about it yet already. And everybody have a great night. Talk to you later. Bye.